Thanks for coming out tonight. Has everybody here registered for the event so far? Has everybody signed up? Okay, awesome. Step number 1, check. Real quick, just going over the schedule. Yesterday we had Sean and Nick out here on the wave giving some private lessons and trying to get everybody's rider levels up a little bit before the contest. So props to them for coming out. And then tonight we're going to do a quick meeting in terms of judging how the event is judged and scored for each run. We're going to talk a little bit about the competitor situations and just kind of get you guys dialed for the event tomorrow. Before we start, I'm going to introduce myself. I know a few of you here, but for the others of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Muller. I've been flowboarding for about 5 years now. I have an experienced board sport background, but I got into flowboarding when I moved to Orlando, Florida. It's landlocked, so that kind of gave me my aqua fix and the adrenaline rush I was looking for. Since then, I haven't turned back. While managing that venue, I met these two guys right here who I'll introduce to you in a minute. If you haven't already figured out who they are, but we'll get into that. My role in flowboarding is a little bit of flowboarding events and marketing. I work for FlowRider Inc., the company who builds and sells these attractions all around the world. We have roughly 200 waves on an international platform, and we have about 24 more waves being built this year alone. So flowboarding, needless to say, is an up-and-coming sport. We're at a grassroots level right now, but the attraction is taking off, and by the looks of it, between the events and the turnouts that we're having, so is the ridership. So we look forward to seeing the sport of flowboarding grow. We have had events all over the world. We have a US flow tour, we have a European flow tour, and an Asian flow tour. We have hosted events north of the border in Canada before, in Laval. But I'm happy to say this is the first ever Canadian Flowboarding Championships, so this is going to be the start of something big. What we're trying to do here today is crown Canadian champions, and we're going to create a Canadian Flowboarding team to represent this region at the World Flowboarding Championships. So if you guys see Marina or Ashley or any of the West Edmonton staff, please thank them. They have shelled out quite a bit of money between bringing myself and these two guys over here out, putting up prize money, as well as purchasing airfare tickets to the World Championships. So props to them for doing that. So before we get started talking about the judging seminar and how the event operates, I want to introduce to you guys Sean and Nick. First, Nick Wynn right here. Nick is a 5-time world champion and a 4-time US national champion. He has been riding for, 13 plus years or so. So he's been around for a while. He's seen the sport grow. Not only is he a competitor, but he has also started his own brand. It's a clothing and apparel and equipment brand for flowboarding specifically, which is another way to help the sport grow. If you're not familiar with it, check out Bros Flowboarding. They have a website, Instagram, social media, Twitter, all that stuff, so check out that. That's Nick specifically on his grind to support the sport. In addition to that, Nick also takes a lot of photos and video, and he's basically archived the growth of the sport since day one. So he's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into growing the sport, and he continues to do so. And on top of all that, he's still a competitor. Nick finished 3rd overall this year, I believe, in the US Flow Tour, and he will be at the World Championships this year, going for another world title. Next to him, Sean Silvera. If you're not familiar with Sean, Sean is also a 5-time world champion and a 4-time national champion. Or is it 5 national championships? 5 national champions, sorry. Sean has been in the game since the very beginning. He's kind of the innovator of all the tricks that you see being done on the wave, same as Nick, in their respective divisions. Nick's a bodyboarder, Sean's more of the stand-up rider. They both dabble in both disciplines, and both are very good at riding either way, stand-up or bodyboard. Sean now does a lot of work for the company FlowRider. He's not so much riding and competing as much as he would like. He actually builds some of these waves that you see around the world, so he's very hands-on with that. He also is now in charge of the FlowRider Mobile, which is a new operation for FlowRider. We have an inflatable mobile that just blows up, and we can take it pretty much anywhere in the world, and Sean's the man in charge of that. So these guys not only have started the sport, created the tricks, and been around for 10 plus years, they are continuing to do so, continuing to give back to the sport, and they're here for you guys this weekend. So if you have any questions, or you want to learn a new trick, or you have anything you want to know about their past, they're here, they're happy to answer that. But now that we're all on a first name basis, welcome to the Canadian Flowboarding Championships. We're going to do a quick judging seminar and competitors meeting, just to kind of go over the rule book and basic competition procedures, so everything runs smoothly tomorrow. And at the end of this, or even during this, we have a small group, so feel free to raise your hand, ask some questions. Like I said, we're here to help you. So we're going to just jump right into this and go over a little bit. What we're doing here is we're basically just talking about the sport of flowboarding. We're talking about how to get educated, how to get more involved, how to better increase your riding and do well in competitions. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the general basics of the judging and information. We're going to go over the competition rules. We'll probably skip the majority of the judging stuff because nobody here is going to be participating in the judging roles. But we will go over just about everything that has to do with the flowboarding event. So if this is your first time in the event, is this everybody's first time in a competition? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, so we got some new people to the contest. I just want you guys to know, don't be intimidated. There are some good riders here. There will be some good riders here tomorrow. Don't be intimidated. It's all for fun. And again, we're all working together to grow the sport. So we are very happy to have all you guys out here. This event is specifically for Canadians. So we're looking to grow that rider base in this region and give back to West Edmonton a little bit. So the basic contest format, they generally change based on how many people are in each division, how big the contest is overall. But for the most part, each rider will get, each rider will get 3 runs each. So you guys will be broken up in different divisions and different heats. You guys will get 3 runs each. We're going to do 35-second runs for the amateurs, 40 seconds for the pros. And the way you get scored is your top 2 scores will count. So everybody gets 3 runs. One of them will be a throwaway run. We're going to tally the other 2 scores together, and then you're going to get a placing. And the judging point scale is on a 1 to 10 scale. As you can see right here, anywhere from a 0 to 1.9. Poor is probably not the best word to use, but it's under average. 2 to 3.9 is fair. 4 to 5.9 is average, 6 to 7.9 is a good score, 8 to 10 is an excellent score. Again, don't be intimidated by your scores. We do judge on the highest level. This is a Flowboarding League of the World sanctioned event, so we are going to go based on our current criteria, which we'll dabble into in a minute. And as I mentioned, the way the scoring process works is you'll have 3 judges. Tomorrow they will be Sean, myself, and Nick. As I mentioned, we've been doing this for a number of years now, and we've become quite comfortable with it. So after each run, Sean, Nick, and myself will each give you a different score based on the 1 to 10 scale. Once the rider has all 3 runs, we're going to drop the lowest score, and then we're going to tally the 2 higher scores together. The rider with the highest score will advance. If we have enough people tomorrow, the top 2 riders from each heat will advance into the next round. If there's a tiebreaker, we'll go over the different scenarios, but if there's a tiebreaker, there are ways for it to be broken. The only time there is a tie is if it's on the master sheet, meaning if somebody got first, and first, we will go back and look at the highest score. Does anybody have any questions yet about the scoring process and the format? Yes, so the question was, the 1 out of 10 scale is based on the run, so yes. So after your 35-second run, Sean will give you a score, whether it's a 6 or a 7, however he feels you did on that run. My score is going to be different. He might give you a 6.5, I might give you a 5, Nick might give you a 7. So everybody's going to have a different opinion and a different score. Moving on, this is the judging criteria, kind of what we're looking for as a whole package in your run. To be honest with you, within that 35 to 40 seconds, we're looking for absolute perfection. However, flowboarding is a very humbling sport, and it's almost impossible to be perfect on the wave. So again, don't be intimidated by it. That's just the criteria we're going off of. Some of the things we're looking for is commitment and degree of difficulty. We want to see people going after the big tricks. We want to see people committed to landing those big tricks. The integrative and progressive maneuvers, we want to see people doing tricks that other people aren't doing. So if everyone's doing the same trick, it's going to be hard to vary the different scores. So we want to see people come out of their shell and do different tricks. Combination of maneuvers, we want to see a solid flow to your run. We don't want to see a stop, go pace. We want to see 30 to 40 seconds of complete flowing and movement. Variety of movements, speed, power, and flow. So for variety of maneuvers, if you don't have a great skill set or you don't have a repertoire of maneuvers, do what you're comfortable with doing, do what you're safe doing. But in terms of variety, try not to keep doing carve after carve after carve or ollie after ollie after ollie. Try to mix them in to a routine. So do a carve, then an ollie, then a carve, then an ollie. Mix it up a little bit, try to show some variety in your run. The speed, power, and flow kind of goes back up into all of this, into the commitment and degree of difficulty. We just want to see confidence in your riding. Again, if you're new to the sport, you're new to the riding, please don't be intimidated. Do your best, have fun, and that's what this is all about. We're really here to grow the rider race, grow the sport, and we want to come back for more events in the future. So don't be intimidated, just have fun and go after it. So breaking down the judging criteria into more detail, these are the 3 different categories that we're looking at and scoring you on. Number 1, execution, and I'll break down these even more as we go. Trick difficulty, variety, and overall impression. Those are 3 categories and criteria that we are most honed in on. Starting with the first one, execution. Probably one of the ones that is most important in the run because these are the ones that take away the majority of the points. The first one is a minor falter. And a minor falter is basically any time you have a hand check or you have a small falter in your run. I'm going to pass around this as we go. This is basically my science fair project for judging. If you have any questions about it, let me know, but that'll help you follow along with this. So I'm going to pass this and then just pass it when you're done. So again, a minor falter is a slight hand check, dragging your hand in the water or dragging your foot in the water. And that can range from a minus 0.1 to 0.9 points. Again, judging is very subjective, so Sean might take off 0.2 for your run, I might take off 0.4, depending on how I see it affected your run. Anybody have any questions on a minor falter? So the question was, can a minor falter be taking off on the entrance of your run, correct? So he's saying when doing a 360, he's putting your hand in the water to help you spin, correct? So to us, that's an assisted 360. So it would be a minor falter, but again, it probably wouldn't go to the higher end of the minor falter. It would be just an assisted, so it could take off to 0.1, depending on how much we feel it assisted your maneuver. Any other questions for the minor falter? No? Minor falters? No? No. Please keep asking questions. We're here to make sure you guys know what's going on. So if you guys go to other events, whether it's in Canada, US, or anywhere in the world, we want you guys to be on that consistent level and know what to expect when you're competing. Moving on to the major falter. The major falter can be up to a 1.5 deduction from your run. And essentially what a major falter is whether you're using 2 hands, to save your trick, or you're catching yourself on your butt or your back to get back up. This is obviously more of a falter than the minor, up to 1.5 off, and again, it's very subjective, and we're going to determine how much it affected your momentum or assisted you in completing that trick, which will determine how much comes off of that. Any questions in terms of the major falters? So anytime you put 2 hands on the ride, 2 feet on the ride, or your butt or your back, you're going to be deducted for a major falter. And the last of the falters is the wipeout. A wipeout is resembled by this full X with a circle. It's the most crucial of deductions. It can be up to negative 2.5. For the most part, it's never under 2 points of a deduction. So I highly suggest that you try to stay on the wave for as long as you can. That goes back to doing the tricks that you are comfortable with, most familiar with. Don't try to do stuff that you're not comfortable with. Just try to stay on the wave for as long as you can and doing those maneuvers as best as you can and as unassisted as you can, and that'll provide you the best score. Anytime the rider falls off the wave completely in a run, 2 times, that run is complete. So if you fall off twice, whether you lose the board completely or you wipe out the back, if that happens twice, the ride is done. Any questions on the major falters or wipeouts? No? Pretty self-explanatory. If you wipe out off the wave, it's going to really hurt your score. Another criteria that we look at outside of execution is the difficulty. We have a trick list right here. This is for flowboarding. This is for bodyboarding. Kind of the different tricks that are out there on the wave, and we're going to compare you guys to. Carves, sprays, ollies with the grab, 180 shove-its, things of that nature. As you go down the list, the harder they get. So we're looking for riders who are throwing out the most difficult tricks in the run, and then also not having the minor, major, or wipeout falters. So that kind of creates that 1 to 10 scale. Again, if you are not familiar with these tricks or these tricks aren't in your repertoire, please don't worry about it. Don't be intimidated. Go out there, do what you can, and we're going to just give you a score based on what you are capable of doing. Anybody have any questions in terms of what we're looking for based on tricks or falters, anything like that so far? No, everybody's good. Okay, so this pertains more to the judging.